The Oracle of Luna is a podcast with me, Bridget Engels, as your host. Here we have conversations with real live, present-day goddesses who are actively and courageously doing their magical work in the world. Each episode is a bewitching journey with relevant discussions on topics such as Wiccan pagan spirituality, writing, culture, magical practices, art, ritual, and the craft in its many forms. Today's episode 6, we have Octavia Burghelea, Green Kitchen Witch. Welcome, Octavia.
Thank you so much.
So we'll just go ahead and start right in. You call yourself a Green Kitchen Witch. How did this role come about, and what does it entail?
So that's a really, really interesting question. About a year ago, my partner and I were planning to move to Vienna. And initially, our plan was to stay at my partner's dad in South Germany for like around a month or so until we figured everything out. And then, of course, the pandemic hit and our move became it was a bit delayed. So then we ended up staying around 6 months. And the place is just absolutely amazing. It's surrounded by nature, by forest. There's a really big lake close by. So, of course, being there and not knowing a lot of people, I just ended up walking around a lot in nature. Oh. And then I kind of got connected to it. And it all reminded me when I was a child and when I used to go with my parents in the forest and foraging for berries and making jam. And it also reminded me that my mom used to get these tiny orange berries and they used to cover them in honey and then put them in the fridge. And then in wintertime, I used to get to take one teaspoon every morning. And I was actually never sick as a kid, although sometimes I wish I was, so I could skip school. But it was all seasonal ingredients and like seasonal remedies, homemade remedies that we used to make. Yeah. And I think that they actually kept me really, really, really healthy for all of these years. And then when I moved to the city, I kind of forgot about this and I actually got really sick. And every time I would catch a cold, I would be like really in the bed. And this could, like, for example, in Amsterdam, it could happen like once every 2 months or so. So it was really the city life didn't quite agree so much with me. So just living so close to nature after so many years last year, it really brought those memories back, and I also made some connections with nature and with myself. And all of this in the end kind of fell into place with my magical practice, because I've been practicing magic for quite some time, but I never said that I'm like a kitchen witch or a green witch or like a cottage witch, or I was not sure which path was mine, but I knew that I should just wait for it to come by itself. So then I just started looking more into green witchcraft and the things that it entails. And then I realized that it was already what I was kind of doing without even knowing. So I started growing my own herbs. I experimented a lot with making my own products last year. And then one day, as I was baking, I realized that this path also kind of comes together with kitchen witchery. Yeah. So like baking with seasonal ingredients or using certain spices, herbs to bake and then just to manifest things in your life is pretty magical.
Yeah. So
Um,
I see how your journey has brought you to this place. That's cool.
Yeah, so because I do green and kitchen witchcraft, that is kind of how the Green Kitchen Witch name came to be.
Yeah. That's cool. Very cool. You're really, from what I see, a very prolific and creative dessert baker. What interests and inspires you to do this so much?
Well, I've been baking, I think, for around 9 years now or so, and sometimes taking some breaks. And I know it sounds weird, and I saw that some people who have this connection have this too, but it feels like baking just has always been there for me. Like whenever I had a bad day, or I needed a break from anything else, or I just needed a pick me up, I would always turn to baking. And
Hmm.
I'm not sure where the inspiration comes from, but somehow it is linked to my childhood. Um, when I think about it, in my younger years, I really loved going for a piece of cake at the local bakery. And
And Octavia, where was that? What city
oh,
or?
yes, sorry, yes. So I am originally from Romania.
Okay, okay.
Yes, from a really small town in the east side of Romania.
Oh,
Um, so yeah, so it was kind of like regular that we would go for a piece of cake at the local bakery when we were celebrating something like a birthday or the first day of school, or whenever I got a good grade at an exam or a test in school. I used to tell my mom, can we go now for like a piece of cake? So
yeah.
yeah, like desserts were always kind of linked in my memories with happy moments. And I think that just the feeling, that like that child feeling, kind of grew with me and led me to this path. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's like a celebration or a reward. I feel the same way. I love
yeah,
cakes and pastries.
yeah, like even if I actually kind of have something sweet every day, but it still feels like it's that sweet moment, for myself. So
Yeah.
it's really magical in a sense.
Yeah. It's about self-love in some ways too, but you're also giving to other people by baking things.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And so how do you blend your baking and herbalism with your witchy side and integrate the wheel of the year and the seasons and maybe the moon phases? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Mm, yeah, sure. So I usually like to link different ingredients with my intentions. So, for example, if I would wish to have more creativity in my life, I would bake with ingredients associated with fire, like nutmeg or ginger. If I would want more love, I would bake something with vanilla, like for example, some vanilla cookies, and I would like put my intention towards that.
Hmm.
Um, Usually, like for grounding, which helps me a lot in the morning, I usually add a bit of cinnamon to my morning coffee, and I really love to stir it clockwise. So if you in kitchen magic, if you stir clockwise, then you bring something in positive into your day, and for uh, banishing, you stir counterclockwise.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I really like to steer
See?
clockwise and to like bring whatever I want into my day, and
Yeah.
that has been actually a really nice morning ritual for me.
Yeah. I mean, it's energetically you're manifesting positive vibrations and intentions, good intentions with stirring and even I guess when you're making muffins or baking a cake, you're stirring the batter, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I also usually do it like, and also with cookies as well. I tend to like roll them in my hands and then say my intentions then, and like put that into it.
That's excellent. It's very magical.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you taste it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I really feel since I've been bringing more magic into the kitchen, I really feel like the end result is so yummy. And it also looks so nice. I don't know. I feel like the intention really adds more to it.
Yeah, it adds that little bit of magic, that little
Yeah,
witchy
exactly.
magic.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And then as far as like following the seasons or the wheel of the year.
I usually with the wheel of the year and the seasons, yeah, it's mostly also, I guess, linked to when I was a kid, and now I'm actually realizing it. But once I stopped and listened to my body, I realized that I'm craving different sweets at different periods of the year. So, for example, during like this past winter, I baked a lot with spices, which actually gave me the energy to get through all of the winter hibernation. And I also used a lot of chocolate for self-love, and like usually in wintertime you cannot find that many fruits, so apples and citruses are usually the ones that I use the most. And yeah, now I'm actually really excited because it's almost spring and the sun is coming out. So
Yay!
yeah. So I feel like I'm craving more fresh sweets, and looking forward to summer when every fruit is out there and to bake, and also some flowers to add to them. I think that's even more magical and even more grounding and even more working with the earth.
Yes.
And I also like and I also like baking for the Sabbats. I usually choose ingredients which are associated with the Sabbath, and I bake something. Like for Imbolc this year, I made a really, really yummy lemon loaf cake, which was so loved on
I
Instagram.
saw that. I saw that on your Instagram feed. It was fantastic looking, and the photography is so beautiful. It was so inviting.
Yeah, actually, so many people tried it as well, and I was like over the moon happy because they were like tagging me in their creations, and everyone was so sweet and so nice. So yeah, it was really, it's also really nice when you put a recipe out there and then you see like people doing the magic in their kitchen, and then it's really like, oh, that's
See?
so good.
You're spreading the kitchen magic and the love.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really, I don't know, for me, it makes me really happy, especially when I see people doing it themselves as well, because I know it's a really beautiful thing and magical thing.
Yeah, it's very positive, very, like you say, grounding, and it links you to nature and the seasons, and it's very holistic and healing as well.
Yeah.
So, do you also work with the moon phases?
I also do some sweets during the moon phases. I usually like to include ingredients associated with what I want to manifest in that moon cycle. So for me, I don't know if everyone has this, but for me, new moon usually represents new beginnings. And it's usually a time where I like to ground and be more calm and set my intentions for the next 4 weeks.
Yes.
So I usually like to make some cookies. I recently tried out this sage cookies recipe.
Oh, that's
And
interesting.
yeah, and they were actually so good. They were, I think, with sage and a bit of lemon, and they actually came to me in a dream, which was even the funniest part of it.
Oh, so intuitive. That's excellent.
Yeah, yeah, it was really, and they're actually really nice. I really like usually making them for new moon and have a cup of tea and then this, and then just reflect a bit on what are my goals for the next 4 weeks.
Yeah. So that's really interesting you brought that up, because that sounds like a ritual to me.
Yeah, a kitchen magic.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
there's all kinds of rituals that we can do to manifest and work with the moon cycles. But I just love that the fact that you're creating something and then you're eating it and then you're manifesting. It's like a triple fold cycle. It's very cool.
Yeah. I actually had this the first time, I think, 3 years ago or so. When I was living in Amsterdam, I had a really good friend who is also a witch, and I went once to one of her, I don't know, I think it was like a series of workshops.
Uh-huh.
And then I brought some mini cheesecakes for everyone, because I usually just do that. And she was like, "Oh, this would actually be such a great thing to put our intention in them, and like a spell, and then you eat the spell and then you let it manifest." And it was actually such a magical moment with everyone. I think we were like 10 people or so just doing this and then enjoying them, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, it's so yummy." And then just saying, "Yeah, we ate our spell and now we just wait for it to manifest." So
Oh, that's so beautiful. That's a very powerful practice, actually, within a ritual. Is sometimes with my coven and circle, actually most of the time we have a communion part of our ritual, and it's a small snack that we bring, but it's very important for grounding after doing trance or spell work or energy
yeah.
raising. So yeah, that's very cool. I love how you integrate the food magic in with the other ritual, or other, or create a ritual by baking and making food and then eating it. It's excellent. Well, um, that really kind of says it all about magic and baking. Is there anything else you want to talk about as far as like intertwining your witchy magic into your baking?
Well, yeah, I think I've mentioned the coffee thing. You can also do that with tea, actually, to stir clockwise. Um, and yeah, also, I think it's really great if you make cookies or truffles. I also do that when I make chocolate truffles, because you still need to roll them in your hand to just infuse the, like, put all of your manifestation then while you roll them clockwise.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you finish everything, when you finish rolling them, I usually like to seal the spell with So Mote It Be.
Yeah.
And usually the truffles just go in the fridge to chill. And then the cookies usually they get baked, and then everything kind of happens there.
Yeah, the magic happens.
Yeah.
I love how it fuses the energy of you as well as the seasonal um, ingredients and different herbs and spices. And it's just so magical. I love what you're doing here. And then you said something about, do you incorporate sigil? Oops.
Yeah, I sometimes do it. I think the easiest way, it's usually if you have like when you mix the ingredients, you can just like draw them kind of inside the batter with like a tiny spoon or a wooden spoon or something.
Yeah.
Or if you like baking bread, I think it's really nice to just score them on top of the bread. I'm still not good at scoring bread that it looks really pretty when it comes out of the oven, but I usually tend to just draw a sigil before
Yeah.
baking it.
And I was just thinking about when you're talking, I could visualize you kneading a loaf of bread, or the dough of a loaf of bread, and incorporating some words and your magic into it. And then I actually saw you, I just visualized seeing you draw the sigil on top of the loaf before you put it into the oven. So anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I also love to make sourdough bread. So usually also the process takes a bit longer, but it's also a bit more, I don't know how life should be, like slower, like good things happen with patience.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
yeah, I really love the process of making sourdough bread as well. And it's also natural and yeah.
Yeah. And it tastes good too.
Yeah, exactly. It tastes really good.
Wow, it's so very cool. I'm starting to get hungry. Um, so do you have anybody in your family or somebody maybe who's influenced you on your journey?
Mm, yeah, I think I do. If I think of the green path, I think my parents and grandparents actually influenced me, but without them knowing it, because when I was younger, it was just the way you lived
Yeah.
and not like something, oh my God, you are living with the season. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, it was just a way of living. And yeah, like when I was growing up, we actually always ate seasonal food. I remember my grandparents, they always used to start preparing the pantry in autumn. I never understood that because every time they were already making the jams and everything, I already wanted to eat them. And they were like, no, 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 this is for winter time. And I was like, no, but in winter time you can make more. And they were like, no, we actually cannot because there are no during winter time. So yeah, it was, my mom was actually doing the same. So it was always as a kid, I was always so impatient. And then I was like, okay, now it's snowing. Now can we just open that jar of
Yeah.
jam? And then she's like, no, okay, let's do it. So
Finally,
it
we
was,
eat that jam. That's interesting. Did they grow up? Did you grow up on a farm or near a farm, or did your grandparents live on a farm? Or
no, I grew up in the city. My dad was, when he was younger, he used to spend his summer holidays, because in Romania we have 3 months of holidays in the summer. He used to go to my grandfather's parents, that they had a house at the countryside, and he really loved it actually a lot as a kid. And I think that that's where he also got all of this, seasonal eating, knowing
yeah.
all of the things. And then when I was around 14 or so, we actually moved a bit outside of the city. And my parents built a house, and now they're also still growing some things. At one point, also had chickens, which was a really fun. But now they mostly have like a lot of fruit trees in the back. They have an almond tree. They have raspberries, which is really nice. When I go in the summer, I just wake up, go outside, and eat some fresh raspberries, which is
Oh, that
such
sounds
a feeling.
wonderful.
I love it so much. When I was younger, I wasn't so happy that we moved, because I was a bit like, I was starting high school and then going like outside the city, so I couldn't see my friends. But now I'm really like, okay, I come in somewhere where everything is in season and I have to eat all the fruits and veggies. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
really great. And I think it's also really great for them actually to live closer to nature and have all of these
Oh,
things
yeah.
so
It's so
easily
healthy.
available.
Yeah, it's so healthy eating seasonal foods. It's what our body craves also.
Yeah,
Um,
and they also taste completely different. I remember when I was younger and I just wanted strawberries in December, and my dad was like, no. And I was like, no, come on, please, please buy me. And they were also super expensive. And then he caved once and bought them for me, and they tasted so bad I couldn't even tell him. But
oh.
I didn't try them ever since. But yeah.
Yeah, there's something the way fruits and veggies taste so good when they are in season, like tomatoes, like a ripe, juicy tomato in late August or early September tastes so different than in December or January at the store.
Yeah. Yeah, we also grew our first tomatoes last year and they were so good. I couldn't believe it.
Oh, yum. Um, Yeah, it's very magical working with nature and the seasons and integrating it into cooking and baking. I've also noticed that you have really, really lovely food styling and photography.
Thank you.
And you do that all by yourself?
Yeah, I mostly do. I mean, I do all the photography myself. And it's funny because it's a camera that I have since I was 15 or so.
Oh, wow.
Now I actually found the usage for it.
What kind of camera is it?
I think it's a DSLR and it's a Canon 400D, so it's really, really old model.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still really great, and it really
Yeah.
does. It's actually not the camera. I realized that does the whole thing. You just have to know how to use it.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah,
work with lighting and angles
yeah,
and all that.
yeah, exactly. I usually just like to use natural light, which now is a bit better because the sun is starting to go to come out again. Yeah, and I also like to use some seasonal props. Like for example, during winter time, I was using a lot of candlelight and winter greens in my pictures because I felt like it kind of fit the atmosphere, like a more calm and moody.
Yes.
And now, yeah, with the sun coming, I really feel like the style is kind of changing a bit, and I'm using like more brighter tones and to have more of that joyous feeling that you feel in spring and summer.
Yeah.
So
The balance of light and dark is shifting.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, it's really lovely, and I just adore looking at your photos, and it's mouth watering to me.
Thank you so much.
um, which leads me to my next question: who eats all these amazing creative baking treats?
I get this question a lot actually. So many people on Instagram are actually telling me that if they were with me, they would like gain so much weight. And I also make some jokes sometimes that my kids are gonna be really chubby
Yeah.
from cooking. But yeah, I don't know. So far, one, no one got too many kilos around me. It's mostly my partner and friends who are eating the sweets that I make.
Lucky people.
Yeah, because yeah, my family is kind of far away. I actually live in Berlin right now, so I usually just bake for them when I go home. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, I don't know. Like I really love connecting with um, new and old friends over something sweet.
Yeah.
I'm also a bit of an introvert with new people around me,
Yeah.
so sometimes I would just like, if I would be like, you're an interesting person, I would want to meet you. Hey, do you want to bake some cupcakes together?
Uh,
And it actually ended up being like such a great time. And of course, the people are also like, oh, this is actually so easy. Like, I should do this more often. I'm like, yeah, baking shouldn't be like, you see in magazines, everything's super perfect, you should
yeah.
just do it from the heart, and then it tastes good, and it's
Yeah.
really
And it feels
magical.
good. It feels good to create something with your own hands.
Yeah, exactly. I also really, really love that. Yeah.
Do you have like do you just get inspired to bake cookies or muffins or cakes, or do you have like a little list of your weekly baking?
I usually, okay, to be honest, I usually just ask my partner, what are you in the mood for?
Oh, wow.
And I have, yeah, he's a really lucky guy. But yeah, I also have this really nice baking book that he got me as a Christmas present, which was so sweet. And sometimes we either pick from there, or if I'm also really in the mood for something, then I know that he will be fine for it. So then I just do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, usually it's kind of, so I don't have a plan. Okay, this week I'm gonna do this and this and this. I also really like to experiment a lot with the flavors in the kitchen. And yeah, also sometimes add a bit of this, add a bit of that, for maybe a bit more cinnamon, for some grounding, maybe a bit of chocolate for self-love.
Yeah.
And let's see where it takes us.
I love how it becomes, I mean, you're such a good baker that it becomes like intuitive at some point where you're like,
Yeah,
oh, okay, I get how this works now. I can just throw in and experiment, and it's maybe a little bit more spontaneous.
yeah, sometimes, yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. And then like you say with the sabbats, you kind of make a special
Yeah,
cake or something.
yeah, for those I usually plan a bit, like, yeah, I really pick ingredients then for that, and then I'm thinking what would actually fit.
Mm-hmm. So Ostara is coming up. Do you have are you thinking about something special for the?
Yeah, I've really been trying this these days. I don't know why I feel drawn to bake something with lavender, but I've never baked with lavender. So
Mm.
it's a bit intimidating,
Yeah.
but I have a feeling something with lavender and a bit of lemon. So I will see where this road goes.
Yeah, that sounds really refreshing and light,
Yeah.
very springy.
Hmm.
Yeah, I took a little workshop a long time ago. We made lavender biscotti,
Ooh,
and
that
it
sounds
was
good.
so good.
Oh yeah.
A lot of work, but it was really good. That was fun. So do you ever have workshops, or do you have any upcoming plans for the future, like a cookbook or a workshop or?
I don't do workshops yet. Um, I would love to have my own recipe book. I've been talking about this for so many years. Um, but yeah, it takes time also to develop all the recipes, and I wouldn't want to rush it. So it's definitely a project that it's kind of ongoing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I'm still also focusing now on adding more recipes also to the website so that people can find some inspiration there. Um, and I love baking collaborations. I'm organizing my first one now with another kitchen witch. Her name is Melly. You can find her on Instagram on at Ingrained Kitchen. Um, the the collaboration is on the 13th of March, and everyone
Oh,
is invited to join. We picked this time the theme of new moon, and there is a list of 10 ingredients that you can choose from to bake your own creations. And then on the 13th of March, on the new moon, we all post our creations online and also talk a bit about our intentions that we put in that specific dessert.
oh, that sounds
And
so
it's
fun. That's excellent.
yeah,
That's
and it's
so
linked.
fabulous.
Yeah, and it's linked to the new moon. And yeah, we will also feature some creations in our stories. So there's baking collaborations both for me and Melly. So we're actually really excited and curious what people would come up with.
Yeah.
But it's been, yeah,
I,
so nice because
I
you really feel,
that's
I
exciting.
feel you getting excited.
Yeah, I used to like to bake. In fact, at one point I wanted to live in Copenhagen and become a Danish pastry baker, but it didn't really happen. And I can't lift big, huge sacks of flour.
But welcome Copenhagen.
But yeah, it's kind of a passion. It used to be a passion of mine when I had more time, but I love to certainly I love to eat baked goods.
Yeah.
But that sounds really fun, and I really want to see the other people's posts and what they make too, and it'd be interesting to follow them and see if their intentions were manifested.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be really nice, and I really think that it's like the first of the many, many magical baking collaborations that I would love to do, because it's also bringing people together, and
Yeah.
really, like, then they can also see that magic in the kitchen it's not so hard. It's something that you actually do every single day.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And you could really create a kitchen witch community that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
So
that sounds exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, well, just to kind of wrap things up, do you have a website or social media where people can learn more about you?
Yes. So I have a website. It's recently made. It made me really happy to see it done. So the website is www.bakingandmagick.com, and that's with the CK. And Instagram, you can find me at Green Kitchen Witch, and green is with 3 E's. So Green Kitchen Witch. Because the 2 E's was already taken. So then I was like, okay, if I put one more E, let's see. And then it was in the stars, and I was like, okay, let's leave it like this.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, I've gone to your website and I've seen some really magical baking photos, and I am really excited for you and all your upcoming endeavors. And I really look forward to seeing all your magical baking posts, especially with this new moon on the 13th. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, so looking forward.
Yeah. Well, it's been a real pleasure, and it's so exciting talking with you, Octavia, and I really honor what you do, and I just wish you the best in all your future endeavors, and keep on kitchen witching.
Thank you so much, and also thank you for having me and for giving me this opportunity to talk a bit about kitchen magic. I could talk about it for hours.
I could too. Feel free to send me some baking goods.
I would if we wouldn't live so far away. Huh?
I know, so far on the other side of the planet. All right. Well, blessings upon you, and also blessed be for a really happy Ostara and springtime. And yeah, it's been really fun having you, Octavia. Blessed be.
Thank you so much. Blessed be.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.